Hello, Schmoville. Well, we are rapidly approaching episode 50. Not quite there yet. This is episode 47 of Phase 3, the Toadhop years. This was the early stages of Toadhop still. We were still a morning show, kind of getting our groove. And what a better way to get our groove back, not being Stella and all, but to have Catherine Reitman. She was back, and she was back to talk. It was good because this is kind of the first show that she had done at Toadhop with us. So we were very excited to have her back. But we were talking about the Avengers. The Avengers had just came out, so it was a full spoiler-heavy show on the Avengers. I think it was like, no, we did a full one on the Hunger Games. So this was like the first one at Toadhop, the first spoiler one we had done at Toadhop. So we were ready. So when we do them now on Phase 5, this was like the birth of from Toadhop and all that stuff. It was like more of the analysis. The three of us got into it a bit, and then we welcomed Freddy Lockhart back, comedian. If you haven't seen the 80s movie version, the 80s movie podcast that we did on this channel, you can check that out. Freddie was there, and we talked Avengers with him. But this was also, I forgot about this moment. This is when all that John Travolta stuff was going on about the massages and the bathhouse and all that crazy rumor stuff with the chef in the bathroom and just crazy stuff. And Freddie and I did a thing where it was Morgan Freeman and Christian Bale talking about the events of John Travolta. We ended the show with it, so it was a stupid bit. It's funny, stupid bit. But Freddie does a kick-ass Morgan Freeman impression. Anyway, it's a great show. It's a fun show. It's one of my favorites, actually. I forgot how much I like the show. Listening back to it, a lot of cool phone calls. Some of our regular callers that still call today pop up, and maybe some surprise guests. So check it out. Let us know what you think. And, of course, always check out Phase 5, the live show every Thursday, 6 to 8. The brand new episode that we just had on there with Alicia Malone and Hal Rudnick is up right now. And that's about it, guys. Enjoy episode 47 of the Schmoes Know podcast.
Live from Universal Studios Hollywood in beautiful Los Angeles, California.
ToadhopNetwork.com.
Radio worth watching.
Radio worth watching.
Uh-oh. There it is. Look at this. It feels really good right now, doesn't it?
You know what time it is.
It feels familiar for some reason.
What's the feeling you're getting?
I'm feeling like this, for the last couple of weeks, it felt great, it felt nice, but it felt like something was just not complete, you know what I mean?
And if you're watching, you already know what we're talking about, kids. We got the band back together.
Yeah, listen to that. We are talking about the one and only Ms. Catherine Reitman returns.
Yay. I'll clap.
Guys, I don't know how you get anything done when there's these jams pumping into your ears.
Oh, it's the best. Well, look, Catherine is back. She has been doing stuff that is what is called working. She has been shooting stuff for VH1, her show that we're very excited to see, but you're back.
I'm back.
How long are you back?
This week.
That's it.
I think I'm going to miss next week.
Okay.
But I am so excited about this week's episode. I've missed you guys terribly. And I feel like every week something's missing out of my life.
Mm-hmm. And it's the Schmoes.
I also miss you guys.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Catherine says that she is back for a reason that is a very good reason this week. And we are talking about the Avengers.
Dun, dun.
Yep.
Now,
quick.
The Avengers, which you guys know, is the biggest opening of all time.
It's just epic.
You are just so excited about this podcast. You hear he's building it up like he's...
Listen to the music.
The Avengers. The biggest film.
All three of us are the Avengers.
Of all time.
Of nonsense. Now, last time Catherine was on the podcast, we did a full spoiler-heavy version of The Hunger Games.
Which I missed.
Yes.
Thank God you missed that.
No one noticed, but I wasn't there for that one.
No.
And that is where you're wrong. I missed you terribly.
Oh, thank you.
Now, we are going to be doing a spoiler-heavy version of the Avengers, and our buddy Freddy Lockhart will also be joining us in a little bit. But
what are the rules about spoilers? Like,
what do you mean? There's no rules.
The question is, once the movie comes out, how many days can pass before you don't have to be like, spoiler alert?
I'm glad you asked that. It's like getting a girl's phone number. I think you have to wait the weekend.
That's what I thought.
You get a gal's number on a Friday when a movie generally comes out. I think you're waiting until Monday or Tuesday to call
Monday
her.
you can start drop spoilers.
I think that's changed. I think it's changed with the fact that people,
calling women or the movie spoilers.
Movie spoilers with DVRs and Blu-rays and all that stuff, because people know that they're going to get it sooner, so they don't want to hear about the spoilers, like especially with TV shows and stuff. But
so you're saying people will wait on an epic movie like this all the way till it comes out on DVD, Blu-ray?
Some will, but I just think
once the movie's on DVD, I feel like spoilers fly.
I'm with you. I just don't.
Then I'm telling people, if you hadn't seen The Empire Strikes Back, then I'm telling people, look, the Darth Vader's Luke Skywalker's father. Okay?
Right. Well, but this is going to be, like I said, we are going to be talking everything spoilers, and here's what we're going to do with you guys too. So we're going to be doing a couple call-ins. You guys can call in when. Just make sure you know, because if you call in now, we're not going to take any calls. So just you don't want to be waiting forever. So
hold your horses.
So yeah, we'll be doing a couple things. You guys can call in, and you guys make sure that you tweet us at @schmoesknow. Go to our Facebook, Schmoes Know. We're going to ask you guys can ask questions about the Avengers, anything you want us to talk about, that type of stuff. We're going to get into it. And, so let's get.
Don't tell us to not give spoilers. I mean, it's not like, we're not doing this podcast to ruin your fantasy if you haven't seen the movie yet.
No.
But it's such a good movie, and it was such everything that I wanted and more. I saw a screening of it with this young man sitting to my left on Monday, and then after that, I paid to see it at midnight. And on Thursday, because I wanted to be with the people. I'm a man among the people. I'll walk amongst the mortals occasionally.
And that's, by the way, the reason why this movie is doing so well is because on our YouTube, on our review, we have so many comments of, I've seen it twice, I've seen it 3 times, I've seen it 4 times.
Repeat business.
Do you guys want to hear the coolest effing story on
Yes,
the planet?
I do.
Are we allowed to swear on the Toadhop
Fuck
network?
yeah.
Get in there.
C-U-N-T. So I went and saw the screening on like a Monday or something, and I wanted to go see it with Phil, my guy. And so we went on a Friday night, and of course it's like sold out everywhere. The only tickets I could get was at like the Grove, which is not my favorite place to see a movie, but it was of course sold out. And the people in front of us were like unusually quiet compared to everyone around us who was like screaming and like really into the film. And for those of you who follow me on Twitter or Facebook, you already know where this story's going. But the movie ends, everyone stays through the last final credit, which I didn't do the first time I saw it because I didn't have you guys with me. It would have been like, hold your horses.
Catherine,
there's more coming.
You want to sit down.
There's more space coming.
Both spoilers? You missed them?
Shawarma eating, you will. So I walk out, and there's like a fucking mob scene going on outside the Grove. And I realized Joss Whedon was sitting directly in front of me.
That's awesome.
As well as, his butt, Agent Coulson.
Really?
That's cool.
It was crazy. And I've never taken my phone out and taken a photo of someone.
You did it?
I was like, Phil was like so embarrassed. I was like, hold on, for the fans.
That's great.
I totally geeked
that's
out.
Great.
Have you seen this picture?
No, I haven't.
Joss Whedon and Clark Gregg?
I went up to Joss and I was like, congratulations, sir. And he was like, yeah, thanks. I mean, he was being like mobbed by people.
I bet.
But it was cool to see him like grow Friday night. He's probably seen it. I mean, it's open worldwide weeks ago, right?
Worldwide, it's been open for a few weeks. Yeah.
Right. So he's seen it a billion times.
Yeah.
When my dad has a premiere, he usually goes for Chinese food while people are watching the movie. He sat in it on a Grove. It was just very cool.
Well, of course,
It's that good. It's a movie that he's seen hundreds and hundreds of times in the editing room and all that stuff, and it's so well put together.
Well, that's the thing.
I had him sign my breasts.
Congratulations. I would have done the same thing.
No showering for this girl.
Now, but the thing is with him, that makes sense because, look, a lot of people know, if you listen to the past podcast when I was working at Warner Brothers, he was involved in the Wonder Woman thing, and he's a fan of comics, but he was taken off of that movie, and it's like people didn't like his vision, they didn't know where he was going with it.
Didn't he write for the X-Men too, Christian?
I think
that's what my little Harry says.
I think at one point he did. I don't know.
Yeah, he did. He punched up a lot of stuff, even as far back as like the Scream days and stuff like that. He was punching stuff up. I hear the reason why he was taking off Wonder Woman. He wanted to cast Catherine Reitman.
No, that's why
that's my fantasy. You realize that. You know exactly how to get me crazy.
But
first thing in the morning.
Yeah, that's what he's been doing, and it hasn't been working on me. But now he's got his charms back.
Well, you're not a good Wonder Woman.
I know I'm not. But that's the thing is, this is why you cannot judge the past without seeing the future, because this guy
judge the past.
You can't judge the past.
Okay.
Without being able to see the future.
Is that like a hindsight's 20/20 type of thing?
Yes.
Got it.
Now because of that, had those things not happened, he wouldn't have been able to do what he's doing right now. He's a avid Avengers fan, and he put everything that a fan wants into that movie, and it was a fan's film.
And a normal person film. This is one of those unusual events where both the fans go crazy because there's just enough references, plus someone who's not comic book friendly.
You were not excited about this movie going when we talked about it on the podcast.
I was excited because you guys, like the fans, were excited, but I wasn't like, finally, more Thor.
Right, but when you saw it, but I got a text from her because I said, I'm like, and I'll be honest, I'm like, all right, I'm going to text Reitman, the comments going to be like, whatever. And she writes back, pretty effing amazing.
Yeah.
And like you loved it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, everybody here, and including Freddie when he joins us, loved this film. Now, what were some of your favorite moments? Let's start with this.
Okay.
Who was everybody's favorite character and why? Catherine, go.
Okay. My favorite was the Hulk.
Yes.
And it's because I thought he had some of the bigger laughs in the movie. I think there's no contest here. The biggest laugh in the movie was, "Stop! I am above you."
Oh, the best.
Yeah.
Puny God.
That's right.
Yeah.
And of course, the side punch to Thor.
Yes.
On top of the.
Didn't you remind you of your dog? You reminded me of like a big dog.
Yeah.
Like a friendly dog. Like
Also, for like us ladies, there's not a lot of romance in this movie, which usually in comic book movies there's more, get the girl type of thing,
Right.
which I don't always need that, but it's
Right.
nice. And I thought that the Hulk had just so much sentimentality, actually. Like,
Yeah.
the way Mark Ruffalo played it when he was so vulnerable and he was really terrified of becoming this creature, I got so on board with him as a human that when he hulked out, and you can still see the love in his eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
There was something really special about that to me.
I agree with you. Hulk's actually my favorite as well, and
Copy.
I know I'm a copycat, but and it was great to have Lou Ferrigno's voice back as the Hulk, which is amazing.
Such a sweetheart.
Yeah. Now, the reason why I actually am a huge fan of the second film with Ed Norton. I really liked it a lot. And the reason why a lot of people are like, why didn't Ed Norton come back? He had a lot of problems with Marvel, and they went kind of head to head throughout the script writing process and everything. So it just didn't work out with him
Marvel
coming
made
back.
him angry.
Yeah. So
I also feel like Ed Norton doesn't have like the heart that Mark Ruffalo has. He's not a soft person.
it worked for this. I mean, I thought Norton was great in the
I
second
can't
one,
remember it.
but
Ruffalo's got more of that puppy dog eye kind of.
Yeah, and he got-
I hate getting angry.
Which is such a
yeah.
nice combo when he fucking beasts out.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
works for Bruce Banner very much so, and like you can tell like the angst that he was going through and everything. Like, it just he had a lot of depth to him, and a lot of people think it's the best. It's the best version of Hulk that we've seen thus far, and I think that. Because Ruffalo, by the way, called Ed Norton, got his endorsement to do it, and Norton says go. And I think now, it was funny because we
Isn't
talked...
that funny that there's all these like behind the scenes, like, is
Yeah.
it okay if I play your character? It's like high school or something.
It's respect.
Can I date your girl?
That's a guy thing. It's maybe it's
I'm
respect.
going to the
think it's a
Halloween
human
dance,
thing.
and I was going to be a scarecrow, but then I heard your mom made you a costume, so I don't want us to both be scarecrows.
I'll be known as a softer scarecrow than you ever were.
Right.
I'm more a vulnerable scarecrow
More of
than
a
you.
puppy dog eye kind of
Yes,
scarecrow.
yes.
But they used Hulk the way that he was used in the comics. Like, the only thing, and again, like, and I made this clear in our review too. Are there a couple holes in the Avengers story? Yes. Do I care? No. I
Okay,
don't care
cool.
at all.
That's
What
good
do you
to
got?
know.
What's a hole? It
Well,
sounds
wait.
like you do care a little bit.
I don't care. I mean, you
get
can,
to the bottom of
if
this,
you
Mark.
looked into it, sure, like the fact of the matter is like when they don't really go into depth on how Banner was able to control the Hulk. Like they did it, he goes
He
ape shit.
punches the floor with his fists, obviously.
Well, but he goes ape shit in the in the ship. And
almost kills
takes
Black
down
Widow,
the whole.
yeah.
He almost takes out the whole ship, and then
He almost kills the one hot chick in the Avengers. You
Yeah,
don't
and
want to kill her.
There's more than one Kobe Smulders. Open your eyes.
She's really, really hot.
I mean,
Man,
Who's that?
Bone
Which
Struck.
one's that?
She's the girl that was on. She's on How I Met Your Mother. She's kind of the right hand woman to Samuel L. Jackson's
yeah,
Nick
yeah,
Fury.
she's hot.
She is.
Yeah, yeah,
She
yeah.
is beyond hot.
She's beyond hot.
Yes.
I'm with you.
I
Mark.
agree. I agree.
Her name is actually Colby Smulders.
Smuldering.
There's a
Yeah.
reason. Yeah.
But then
gotta be a stage name.
But Hulk flies down. He goes down there, and then the janitor moment that they have, which is really funny, and then he shows up on the scene, and it's a great line where he's like, "I'm always angry," and then he hulks up.
Did the fans go bananas
Yeah,
for
yeah.
both screenings you went to?
Yeah,
Well,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. See, it was the press screening, but people still loved that one.
That's when it's really
yeah.
cool. Is when you're in a press screening with all these, you don't want to say stuffy critics, but there's some people in there, and they're less than enthused about than a fanboy would be. But when that can still get you, it was kind of like Bridesmaids, when even like critics are laughing hard at
Right,
a movie.
right.
You know something
It's a
good is
winner.
going on there. Yeah.
Yeah,
I missed you
agree.
guys so much at the screening for mine. I had spent like the worst day. I'd interviewed Coolio that day.
Oh,
which
no. Was he a pain in the
bananas.
balls?
He was crazy.
Played golf
And
with Coolio?
I golfed with Coolio, and I'm gonna inside scoop. I had like a really bad day and was like crying. Like, I was
man.
like just.
Oh.
Coolio made you cry.
Coolio made me
Son
cry,
of a
you
bitch.
guys. I was like in my car losing it, but I got into the Avengers screening, like the hardest screening to get into, so it's like I gotta go. And I didn't recognize anybody at Warner Brothers. It was not my usual crowd. It was not you guys on both sides of me. And I loved when the movie still rocks you to the point where it changes your day in that state of mind. It's effing awesome.
Yeah, and again, like I said, the holes. It doesn't bother me at all. It's just those are one of the things, But I wanted to go to the Twitter page, and someone like there's great quotes in it too, and that was the thing we had mentioned that one of the notes that Michael Bay should take from Joss Whedon, by the way, is that you can add humor into a movie like this and not make it just suck you out of it. Like in Transformers 3, the comedy is so bad. It's like you have
There's comedy?
Thank you. Exactly. It stinks.
Right.
And in this, all the comedy and the lines, they just hit you at the right moment. Even when there was a serious, there was a serious moment and the line comes, you're like, okay, I deal with it. And there was one line that, right now, one of the lines that someone just tweeted us was from Mike at, was it Mike Town?
Hi, Mike Town.
Best quote was, he's killed 80 people in 2 days. He's adopted. You know what I mean?
Yes. Thor.
Yeah.
I thought, by the way, I don't think he's like a funny guy. He dropped some great lines.
Yeah.
You people are so petty and so tiny.
Yeah. Yeah, Thor was great.
Jokes.
If I'm also on this
I've got
podcast,
nothing for Thor, though.
I can participate in
What do
it
you
as
got?
well. So I can say my favorite hero is still Iron Man. It's still Iron Man. It's still Tony Stark, baby. I mean, Downey just owns that character to another level. And everybody, what impressed me about the whole movie together was the chemistry of the actors. It wasn't just these superheroes getting together and having their little quibbles, but it was the actors, how good their chemistry on screen was when they're all hanging out together. You almost got the sense, and I don't know, maybe they're just great actors, but they all really enjoyed being on set around each other. There was no bitching. There was no going back to.
If there was, they held it behind. We didn't see it.
I didn't see any of it.
I have an inside scoop though.
Let's hear it.
Robert Dow.
What do you got?
Who I thought was fantastic.
Yeah, what do you got?
That he had an earpiece reading all his lines to him. Do you guys hear this?
Really? No, I didn't hear
From
that.
the Joss Whedon Insider.
Well, listen. Is that the scoop you got at the Grove?
What?
Is that the scoop you got when you were at the Grove?
No,
you heard it here first. Robert Downey cannot read.
Well, and by the way, this could be, you never know with you. Please take it with a grain of salt, because unless it's coming from the person you're on set.
Yeah.
But I heard, he had the earpiece in with the lines.
Listen, note to actors out there, wear earpieces.
It fucking worked.
It worked.
Yeah.
So,
but I think a lot of actors do that where they'll either have someone read the script to them on set so that they're more audio rememberers than visual, something like that. But he's a very anyway.
Yeah,
Can you imagine though doing a scene with someone and you're trying to affect them and you're looking into their eyes and you can hear. I mean, like that's maybe that's why Gwyneth Paltrow is just not working in this movie.
Who's reading the lines though? Is that some wannabe actor? Like, hey, if I give this guy a really good read on
line
this
readings.
character,
it's the Hulk.
I like to picture a fat guy who is like by crafty and he's like, "No, Pepper, I have to go."
No, Downey wanted to be challenged, and he had Lou Ferrigno read it the whole time. All right, so you guys are still tweeting in. Great, keep tweeting us. And Macy Handel at the Movie Nerd.
Hi, Macy.
She asked, do you think that it would be a good idea to make a Black Widow movie? And I'll tell you what, if you would have asked me that question before I saw the movie, I would have said, get lost. Who the hell wants to watch Scarlett Johansson for that long?
Everyone?
In a full movie like that? But then, this comes out, she was great. She really was good, and I was not going to buy her as an action star. The Natasha stuff, the accent in the beginning with that opening scene when she
was not the weakest link.
No, absolutely
weakest
not.
link was Hawkeye, hands down for me.
Really? I thought Sam Jackson.
Oh, does he count?
Yeah.
I really didn't think there was a weak link.
If you had to pick one, I'm not saying that he's terrible. He was just he was Sam Jackson. He's the same stuff. But
he's solid. I just don't even think of him as an Avenger. He's like he seems the guy working the phone lines. You know?
Right.
For someone who's not a comic book girl, I'm like, oh god, and he's the secretary.
Avengers, what the hell do you want?
That's right. Oh man.
Right.
Hawkeye is the weakest link. Then again, he was like brainwashed for 90% of the film, so we can't get on board with him. But
yeah, you can't be. I mean, it's not his fault.
Some moments, but
that was kind of a cool thing about the movie. Is right away it takes you in this different way. You're watching, you're like, wait, I thought Hawkeye was a good guy. Now he's brainwashed. What's gonna happen? How
he's
are we
even
gonna
more
do this?
cold than usual.
Yeah,
I thought Jeremy Renner was good, and I again, you'd have to figure if they do a Black Widow movie, you'd have to put.
Renner in there.
I think that it would be good because I like
any of these movies. It's going to be hard to have somebody not at least make a cameo. Mm-hmm. One of the other ones not at least kind of pop in. But yeah, what's impressive about Scarlett Johansson to me is that she wasn't the weak link in the movie, and that's not talking about her acting abilities. I think she's a great actress, but just in this movie, when you see that shot during the trailer, and it's all of them looking around that money shot that everybody went crazy for. Right. She's cocking a gun.
Yeah.
Hawkeye's got a 12th century weapon.
Right.
You're fighting a superior race of aliens. You're going to go with the Robin Hood technology, but in the movie, it worked so well.
It worked out, and and there were a couple of Avengers that were missing, but because of studio stuff, they couldn't make it in. Like Spider-Man is an Avenger.
Oh, really?
And we're going to talk to Ethan Irwin. He's going to call in later on, our buddy Ethan Irwin, and he's going to kind of tell us the whole reason of what happens with the studios and why. Because at one point, Paramount owned all the Marvel stuff, but then that contract's over. Now Disney owns it, but it still had the Paramount emblem, although Disney is the one that is promoting and everything. I want to know how that works, like the structure with the money and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be something we get into a little later.
This is an action-packed episode.
It is indeed. But
I don't know how I'm going to fit this choreographed dance I did, but we'll figure it out.
The choreographed dance we did.
This is interesting. At Senior Nerd writes that that
Great
Banner
name.
was under Loki's control when he first hulked out in the helicarrier. I don't think that's true.
Nope.
No, he was not under his control.
He manipulated him to rage him out,
Right.
but he wasn't like touching the heart with the blue
Yeah,
thumb.
no, he wasn't making him do it. Exactly. He manipulated his way to make him go nutso. Like, and maybe, I don't know, maybe because he held that spear or the whatever that thing is that Loki had, the
Wand?
Spectre. The
Yeah. Wand
Spectre.
of blue?
The Harry Potter one.
Look, I'm a finely tuned athlete, as you guys know. So
Sure.
I think what it is that he hadn't hulked out in a while. It's been over a year since
Yeah.
he had an incident. So the first time you get back on a basketball court, you're a little rusty. You need to get a little warm, get a sweat going. He got that out of his way. And then the next time he hulked out, he could control it better. That's what I'm going
All
with.
right, and I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
Back to ScarJo in that scene where she manipulates him to reveal that you have a monster, we have a monster, whatever,
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
indicates his whole plan. That's like one of the first times, even though you see ScarJo doing it earlier, where you're like, oh, that's her weapon.
Yeah.
She's a phenomenal
this woman
manipulator.
Can do
Love
That's
that.
epic.
And
Love
but-
that.
and
respect her.
mental.
You know what moment I loved? There were two moments with her that I really loved, and the first one was, again, showing how vulnerable she was when the Hulk almost smashes the shit out of her,
Yeah.
and she's crumbled up and she can barely
Shaking,
move.
a lot of trembling.
That was so great. Like, you actually saw, it was one of the times I was like, okay, I'm
She's
with
a
her.
human.
Yes, and it's not just this fake kind of, look at
She
me.
hasn't
I'm
been
super-"
radioactively affected.
Right,
Yeah,
she was
she's a
scared
human.
out of her mind, and I bought it. And then the other part was when they were all fighting in the streets at the end, and she's all bloodied up. And this goes back to our discussion when we talk about Hunger Games about the PG-13R thing.
She's the only one who has blood on her, by the way.
That's
of any person in New York City.
Right,
got effed up. She got effed
but
up.
I liked that though because it sucked me into it and sucked me into her that she was going through this stuff again, showing the human going back to Hunger Games to where Rue's sitting there and she's dying, no blood whatsoever, and I didn't buy it. But with this, a superhero movie with crazy shit going on, I believed it more. You know what I mean?
Right.
So she did a great job, and I'm very
Christian
excited.
is 100% blood based. No blood, he's not sold.
I'm not.
He's not in.
It didn't work. All right. Well, we're gonna take one phone call now, and the number to call in is 888-520-4374. We want you guys to call in. Tell us, what are your favorite moments from the Avengers? We got some calls coming in. What do you got?
Jose, you're on with the Schmoes. What's your favorite part of the Avengers, dude?
I gotta say, first off, hi Chris, hi Mark, and hi Catherine.
Oh, look at that! He gave you a little bit of the woo.
A little bit of sugar.
Hi,
And
Jose.
actually, I'm gonna go against the grain here because everyone's saying, "Oh, Iron Man's my favorite," or "Hulk stole the show." You know what I've noticed? No one mentions Agent Coulson in the movie.
Oh, that's a
well
good
done.
point.
Good point. Thanks a
Real
lot.
show stealer. He really stole the show in the movie. He had a lot of great funny moments, and I'm kind of like, well, why does no one mention him? He's not an Avenger, but still, he had his great cinematic moments in the movie too.
You're
And emotional.
absolutely right.
It's a great
Thank you
point.
so
Thanks for
much,
the call,
Jose. Yeah,
Jose.
no, he's right because you think about it. Coulson is the guy in every one of these movies. The Captain America movie, the Hulk movie, Thor. He's the guy that you recognize. Oh, that's the guy they're setting up for the Avengers, and then because he, again, spoiler, because he gets crapped out. That's when they go into action.
dies?
He dies. Poor Coulson.
He has a
R.I.P.
great moment.
He's great, and he's good in it, and he's got
Lovable.
and adds that humor that you're like, okay, like I love the whole angle with him that he was a big fan of Captain America and the cards and everything.
And he
It
played it
humanized
so
him a little
subtly.
bit because in the first few movies when you see him in Iron Man and stuff like that, you're like, oh, this guy's just a cold agent. That's all he is. He's just a mannequin. But then he's got a human side to him.
Whedon did a great job of adding such delicate humor, I thought, in all the scenes,
humor
but
was
particularly with him. It's
fantastic.
like it's almost like he was Whedon in the movie. The
Yeah.
big fan with all the trading
Yeah,
cards.
yeah,
So he
absolutely.
knew exactly how to play it.
That's
Yeah.
why they're hanging out together at the screening that Catherine went to.
right.
Let's take one more here real quick
What do you
before
got?
we go to break.
Who we got?
We got Jeremy on the line. Jeremy, you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up, man? So, what's your favorite
Hey
moment?
guys, I got a question.
We-
Do you guys think it would be better for Hawkeye and Black Widow to be in Captain America, like as cameos, like supporting people, or do you think it would be better as having their own movie?
That's a great question. Thanks a lot, Jeremy. That's really. I mean, at this point, I think that they signed Ruffalo and all these guys to like a big long contract.
Right.
So it would be cool to see some of the Avengers now pop up in other movies. I'd love to see the Hulk pop up in Iron Man 3. And in response to Jeremy's question, I think it would be great to have Hawkeye and Black Widow in Captain America 2. But that's not to say I wouldn't like to see a full movie, standalone movie with the two of them.
I want to see their backstory together. Yeah. When you talk about an independent Hulk movie, I thought The Incredible Hulk did it in 2008. Did it about as well as you could do a Hulk movie. Everybody loves the Hulk and the Avengers, and there's a reason why. Is because the Hulk can come in and make these cameos. He's like a sharpshooter. He hangs out from the corner. He's just draining threes all day. I don't know that a standalone movie with him though is interesting for 2 hours. I really don't. It's a guy. He hulks up. He smashes shit. There you go. It's like watching King Kong on screen for 2 hours.
Well, guys, we all know the answer to this, which is, of course, we're going to see a movie with just them.
And it wasn't supposed to.
Every way they can make money, they're going to make money.
Now that they can, especially after $207. Yeah, it's $207 million. You'll make. They're going to make Ant-Man. Yeah. Edgar Wright's going to do Ant-Man. But look, and this is a great one, and I definitely want to get into this because Mark and I have conflicting opinions on this. We got real quick. Do you think the Avengers? And this is from @Samuel Gavin. Do you think the Avengers proved that all superhero films don't need to be dark to be successful, as many Nolan's fans claim?
Oh, that's a great question.
It's a great question.
You can still have fun and crack jokes.
Yes, and I see the thing is that
where do you guys disagree?
Well, because I think that a lot of times there should be real moments, but I do think there are a lot of real moments, and we have to go to break in a second here, but we'll get back to it.
Dark and real are different.
I know,
things.
Absolutely, and we'll get back into that after the break. But Mark, go ahead, hit it.
Dark and real are different things, but you know what is true?
What do you got?
Is that Mother's Day is coming up right around the corner. That's right. And for Mom, here's what you can do. You can send her some delicious Sherry's Berries. They're a happy sponsor of our show. You send them giant dipped strawberries from Sherry's Berries. It's only $19.99, guys. That's over a 40% savings. They're enormous. They're fresh. They're juicy. They're mouth-watering. They're dipped in any kind of chocolate you want. Send them to Catherine Reitman. Send them to me. I'll eat them. Go to berries.com. Berries.com. Click on the mic and type in the code Toadhop. Our radio listeners, excuse me,
son of a
can
bitch.
double their berries for just $10 more. Just go to berries.com. This is Mark, Christian, and Catherine. We'll be right back with Freddy Lockhart on the Schmoes Know podcast.
Ease us into it. The Avengers Assemble. That is the score from Alan Silvestri. The Avengers. Where is Mark? Don't worry about it. Because he has just entered with our second special guest, Freddy Lockhart. There he is. Freddy, you getting the Avengers Assemble music. What's up, kid? How you doing?
A lot of high-fiving.
Yes, a lot of high-fiving. That's all right. Don't worry about it. It's all right.
I just like to say that when Freddy is late, love, support, no big deal. When I am late once, women are late all the time. Women can't drive.
Freddy doesn't have a vagina.
I was going to get the black eye light. That's what I this feels just like
but the difference is we can tell her that to her face.
Right. Right. There's quibbling. There's people getting angry at one another. This is just like the movie The Avengers. Now, when you talk about women being late, sometimes they're late. Sometimes we blame it on them. But we can't do it this Sunday. You know why, guys?
Mother's Day.
Because it's Mother's Day.
Uh-oh.
Okay? And so for Mother's Day, I actually do this. For my mom. I send her Pro Flowers, okay? That's what you do. Give your mom a rainbow. Give Catherine a rainbow. She's not a mom yet, as far as we know.
Nope.
It'd be a fantastic way of showing the woman in your life that you love her. If you use our code, you can get a dozen rainbow roses for Mom, plus a free glass vase, which you can probably drink wine out of afterwards, for only $19.99. It's a great price. The flowers are going to last at least 7 days. Just go to proflowers.com. Click on the mic and type in the code Toadhop. Our radio listeners can get a second dozen and chocolates for just $10 more. 40% savings, kids. It's proflowers.com. And we're back on the Schmoes Know podcast.
Mark, you're really good at that.
He's not bad, right?
It's like very natural.
Yeah.
He makes it human.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm a good whore.
But look, you are a good whore. Now listen to us. This is...
Put my lipstick on, I get the money.
All right, now...
Fit for screwing.
Freddie, we've been talking everything the Avengers, our favorite characters, everything. First of all, just real quick, what did you think of the film?
I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was the best action summertime blockbuster I'd seen since 1989 when I was 9 years, or 1989 when I was 10 years old. I saw Batman on my birthday.
Oh, wow.
18.
Oh, yeah.
Tim Burton, Michael
Burton
Keaton.
style.
Yeah, and that was the last time I left the theater going yes. That's how we were high-fiving and eating it up afterwards.
I should wear costumes.
Yeah, it was everything. I'm not a comic book nerd, but I felt like they delivered everything I wanted to see.
I'm absolutely with you. Not a comic girl. I had such a good time.
Yeah, and I'd be curious to know what comic book geeks thought of it, because I thought outstanding. They knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Oscar award where
Christian thought there were holes. He has a lot of
Hey,
problems.
stop it.
He seems disappointed.
What I said, there are, but who cares? That was my stance.
I just feel like why are you so upset
bring it
about
up?
the holes?
Oh, you're trying to turn them against me.
I just feel like Christian's upset about it. I feel like we should get
I'm
around
curious
it.
about that, though, from somebody I never followed comic books, so I don't quite understand.
So what's
my
the big
idea of the
deal,
Hulk is Bill
Christian?
Bixby.
Yeah, and you know that Lou Ferrigno was the voice. Did you know that of the Hulk?
Oh,
this one and the second one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yes, yeah.
But
I'm surprised Christian heard it with all the anger going through his system.
Glad to have you back, you skunk. All right.
Skunk. What are you from 1930s?
I sure am.
skunk, you know that?
I was around the time Captain America was there. All right, so we've been talking about a lot of stuff that was going on with Joss Whedon, how, he had a great year also because of Cabin in the Woods, a movie that was sitting on the shelf for so long. That comes out. Everyone's like, oh, that was so funny. Can't wait now for the Avengers to see what he does with that. Boom. Home Run City. This guy is going to be doing a lot of different stuff now.
Time to work.
Yeah, because
Cabin on the Woods he got on base with. It didn't do that great at the box office.
But
it made money because
got a little buzz.
He
was not the director of Cabin in the Woods. He was
it wasn't actually his creature.
That was actually what Joss Whedon was famous for, is that he would come in, he would produce movies, he would come and do punch-up on stuff, and then he gets on base with that in April, and then he just crushes the Avengers so far.
Yeah.
Everybody, this guy is on everybody. The
Mark's been using sports references really well today.
He does
really
well,
effectively
though.
today.
He is a good sports analogist there.
Now, there was someone had asked to. Oh, you know what? We go back to what we were talking about before we got into the
about
break.
How you thought there were a lot of holes.
Are we going to do this girl with puppy? Are we going to do this girl with puppy?
Girl with puppy, I own up to.
You do not.
I was girl with puppy. What else is there to own up to?
I hate you.
Black Widow.
Yes.
Hawkeye. Easy.
Okay. That's.
Thank you.
Thank you, Captain America.
That's why I'm here.
All right. Now,
general.
What we were talking about before the break was as far as can you do a comic book movie without going into the dark tones? Because it seems like, Nolan had brought this more realistic dark tone into the Dark Knight and Batman Begins, and now they're doing it with the Spider-Man reboot. And one of the questions before the break was, did Whedon now prove that you don't have to do that in order to make a successful, loved franchise for comic book movies?
Yeah, your thoughts, Freddie? Because
I don't think you have to, because it's like, I like what they did with The Dark Knight, but that's his take on it. That's this version of it, and it's like the Tim Burton was a whimsical, fun, almost for kids a little bit, but I think you can find somewhere in between. If you have the violence, like Hulk thrashing shit, he doesn't need to cuss, per se, but he does need to thrash things.
Not everybody needs to be brooding all the time either. You can still have fun. Like, if this was 6 superheroes and they're on that flying ship, and they're just all sitting around pissed off the whole time, and they find little alliances, like when Downey and Banner really started to get to know each other. They're like, hey, you're smart, I'm smart, we can hang out.
Yeah, I like this thing, because he had ideas for him and things. It's like, I can help you with that little thing you got there.
Right, I love that alliance.
That little rage thing.
But I think there's a big difference between dark and real moments. For instance, in the Avengers, although it certainly had a lot of darkness, those real moments, like when Scarlett Johansson is shaking on the floor after the Hulk chases her, even though that could be read as dark, it's a real moment.
That was scary,
and as long as there's real mixed in with comedy, that's if it's authentic.
100%, I agree with that. I think
they don't have to be like comedians. They don't have to do it because they had some tortured life. Maybe they like being superheroes. Maybe they vied to be a superhero.
Right.
Maybe they wanted to be one when they grew up. So maybe you can take that more instead of like, oh, my parents were killed, shot in the face in front of me. And so now I'm angry.
I tried to save Gotham, and now Gotham's coming down on me.
But that's the thing, though. I think that as long as there are real moments, like Catherine said, then I'm in. And going back to using the Transformers 3 thing, none of that seems real. The forced comedy and all that shit. I think I'm watching a movie, so I'm out.
I'm watching a commercial.
Right, and exactly. And then going in, a real shit bomb superhero movie, Daredevil. Same type of stuff. You're like, I don't believe any of this stuff happening. None of it seems
I feel the
real.
writers in the comedy room having a great time with this language.
Right.
I want to feel like I lose myself in a real story.
Yeah.
Not only do you not feel it with Transformers 3, and you know how much I hate Transformers 3. It was on my top 10 list of my worst movies of last year. It's because I didn't care what happened. There's a big action scene in the last 45 minutes of Transformers 3, a lot like in the Avengers. There's this huge battle at the end.
But no one knows what's going on.
You couldn't tell what's going on in Transformers 3. Everybody's like, oh, the effects were great. I couldn't tell what was going on. And even if I could, I didn't really give a shit.
I think that one's just visually a feast, because the Transformers, it's like, it doesn't come from comic book lore. It comes from the 80s. You know what I mean? It comes from, it's not like they have to adhere to this story that's been told, kind of the same way.
But you could have made that movie in this tone. Again, like, not super dark, but you could have put real moments in it and not that John Malkovich bullshit that was going on, and more humor. Right. The way, like, when Downey shows up in these movies and hits his lines. Yeah. He's throwing out that whatever.
He's got little one-liners.
Yeah, the Gallica moment. It's hysterical.
It works out. They have a nice balance of comedy and a little bit of the violence and stuff. But I think as far as something like the Transformers is concerned, they should have just taken that and not done anything regarding to the cartoon, like done their whole new story. Just completely make something new up and just show you how things can transform, or make it for adults.
I think it's effective when there's a great combination of actor and director.
Yeah.
Like, Transformers, we got a Victoria's Secret model running around. Not to say Shia LaBeouf, as Christian says. isn't talented. It's just
He's not.
Well, he's under the hands of Michael Bay. You're going to be in trouble.
Right.
In this movie, I mean, we've got in the Avengers, we've got like highly skilled actors working with Joss Whedon, who's tuned in just right for this.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And that's the thing is that it's funny because you have this team, this super team of actors that this guy has to, because he's respected and everything, but he's never done a movie of this caliber, this scale.
Yeah.
So when he comes into it, you're like, okay, how's he going to handle it? And it looks like he's been doing it for 30 years, the way that everything moves. And again, we don't know what happened behind the scenes, but I didn't see anything. It looked great to me. I didn't see any problems.
The behind the scenes is the most interesting part about it because they had this grand vision for this Avengers movie even before the first Iron Man came out.
Oh, right.
And to have all of these different independent movies do well, and even if you didn't love every one of them, you didn't love Captain America or Thor, they were good enough to keep you going about and hoping that there was going to be this grand picture that we knew that it wasn't going to live up to expectations.
Right.
Yeah.
This Avengers thing, there's no
It
way
couldn't.
it can be that good.
Yeah, that's right.
And it exceeded
Smashed it.
I venture
unbelievable.
to say they're the Wu-Tang clan of action heroes. Every one of them came correct, and on their own they can all come correct.
Well
as well.
done,
right.
Fred.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is true.
Individually, it's anybody's game.
Yeah,
But when they come together.
Well, you know who we have not talked about that we should. You can't have a great superhero movie without a great villain, and Loki was, incredible. Did you not like Loki?
No, I really did. I hate the origin story of Thor, because I'm not a comic book person. I actually would love to hear what you have to say about this, because as soon as they go to space, and then, I sat through the friggin' credits waiting for the space scene, which you didn't
we'll talk
have to wait
about
too long.
yeah.
But I literally was like, oh, man. I'm not invested. It looks silly to me. It
all
doesn't
the nerds
appeal to
see
me.
the guy
Who
at the
was
end.
the guy?
His name was Thanos, I believe.
it is
He's
Thanos.
bad news, I presume.
Bad news.
Because of Odin?
No, I don't. I'm not going to pretend that I know. Not going to pretend that I know a lot from
believe
what?
he's from Odin.
No,
This is
he's-
what we want somebody to call in. Somebody to call in from that is
Harry
a big.
should call in. Harry fucking knows
Somebody
this.
who's a big Avengers fan and knows enough about Thanos. Call in at 888-520-4374. We want to know exactly what his story is. Because everyone seems to be very excited that this
what's the
motherfucker's coming.
deal?
Yeah. So
But Loki, I thought, was great.
Loki was great because he's like, we called him in the review. He's like Frank Stallone at this point. He's like he just can't live up to his brother's expectations.
Oh,
And
sure.
He's just challenged because he bitches, but then he takes out. But he's evil.
Which there's power with that. Take like an Eli Manning or somebody like that.
Right.
It's like proof that I have to be better than my
Right.
brother
Right.
can ultimately be the driving thing.
Right, but he doesn't win the
Feels it,
title
but
though.
he's also got that like Freddie Mercury, I need to be a star.
Yeah,
kind of
there is
mentality,
there is a
too.
silliness about him. There is a what about me about him. You
Yeah.
know?
I'm
What
worried about
me?
him as an actor a little bit, and here's why. Not for his serious acting, which no doubt is out of the park. His comedy was the only one, although I think it was cut really well. He had a few moments where I go, uh-oh, you don't know what you're doing a little bit.
Yeah. He's just,
Joss Whedon covered for your tracks a little bit, and I'm worried
Really?
for the next movie that comedically he's going to be either trying too hard or just a notch off.
like,
Loki?
was my timing off for that
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
Yeah,
Loki?
I
That's
can
my
see what you
prediction.
mean. Yeah, sure. I can
I don't
see
know
what you mean.
is Loki coming back. You think? You
Oh,
think
I don't
Loki's-
know. I don't know anything about space.
I went into it with a discriminatory attitude with the Loki guy because the guy who lives next door to me has I have a German Shepherd and the guy next door has a German Shepherd Husky mix and its name is Loki and it's 4 months old and it's like 75 pounds.
Was
It's
he named
enormous.
after Loki of
the Greek
Odin?
god? And no,
Yeah.
it was like
Norse
Loki,
god,
the Greek, or the
Norse
god of
Norse god. Yeah.
Norse mythology.
This one was actually the god
of
of mischief, right? And so
There's
this
any
dog
people that still
lives up
worship
to
that
that.
Didn't anybody
God,
watch
we
The
want-
Mask?
Yeah, that's what it was. The god of mischief, and so this is a dog that just jumps and hugs my dog's face and like wants to give her kisses. And my dog's a happy-go-lucky dog, but she's like,
Right.
"All right, enough already."
Easy,
so I
Loki.
went into it with like, "Oh, Loki's here, great." Loki wants to come over and swim. Loki wants to poop in my front yard and not pick it up. So as when the Hulk grabbed Loki, that was to me the best scene, at least the comic relief when it looked like he's trying to appeal to him. It's just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I mean,
that took me back to Looney Tunes style.
Right.
Just like beat his
100%
ass.
lost.
Yeah.
it. Lost
But it was
it.
great action in that scene too. So that basically encapsulated everything that you would want out of the Avengers movies. You got a good laugh, but you were also really excited.
I got it
to see
all,
the
man.
hero
Yeah.
triumph.
It was my only kick about it was I kind of wish it came out like in July, just in the middle of summer. Like this is the apex of my summer, and
Well,
everything after that is
Set
down.
the bar too high
wait.
on May 4th.
Well, July and Freddie, we're gonna do something to talk about this. But July, you got the big man coming in, Dark Knight.
That is true.
and
That is
Spider-Man,
Christmas.
That's a lot of
Spider-Man's July
competition.
4th.
That is Christian Bale's month. What they're gonna do Newsies too?
Yeah,
And you guys,
and you got Spider-Man.
A movie you're all probably excited about, The Brave.
I actually am excited for that
I
movie, to
am
be honest.
So cranked for The Brave.
Yeah, I am too.
What's The Brave?
The Brave is a new Pixar movie.
It's a Pixar movie.
Oh, I'm in. I've never seen one I didn't like.
First female
Scottish
led.
female
wow.
fighter. And by seeing, we never get to see trailers in the movie theaters because we see these press screenings where there's no trailers beforehand. Right. And I went to see The Avengers again, and The Brave happened right after the Dark Knight trailer. The Dark Knight, I'm like, oh yeah, there's Anne Hathaway. Oh yeah. The Brave happened. Goosebumps. Crying. I was so charged.
It looks good. I agree with
we
you.
didn't get the Dark Knight trailer. I saw it at
Really?
midnight and with a very funny comic, Matt Nost, and we were sitting there waiting for the Dark Knight. We got the Expendables 2 trailer. That was pretty cool.
All right,
let's.
I want to go to a phone call here. Hopefully that this guy here is calling in is going to talk about Thanos. If not, we got to hang up on you.
Rude.
Sorry.
You're on with the Schmoes. What was your favorite part of the Avengers?
My favorite part was Ethan Irwin.
Ethan Irwin. There he is. Our buddy Ethan Irwin. Actually, we'll take a break from the Thanos real quick. Ethan Irwin, who, if you guys have been a listener of the podcast, he's our buddy. He's a producer on the Sherlock Holmes films.
Returning champion of the game.
That's
Ethan
right.
Irwin.
Now, Ethan.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, buddy. So we had a question for you. Now, when you see, originally, I guess it was Paramount had owned the rights to Marvel. They had all the Marvel properties. And then
they
tagged themselves.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then it went over to Disney. I know that whole deal went down, but for some now
Paramount's tagging it.
Yeah, Paramount.
It's all tagged with Paramount.
Right. When it opens up, you see Paramount. Yet Disney's the one that's promoting it and sending. So what's the deal? How does that work?
Because Merrill Lynch gave
There
the
was
loan.
that like 8% deal or something.
Yes, no, it is what originally seemed like an insane deal where Disney bought Marvel for $4 billion.
Wow,
and
a lot of money.
And a decent amount of money. And you're like, wow. I mean, is it really worth that? Clearly, they made the right decision.
Right.
The whole Paramount deal is Paramount, was distributing the Marvel pictures up to and including it was supposed to be the Avengers and Iron Man 3. Ultimately, Disney actually bought them out for $115 million plus 8 or 9% of the gross. So for basically not having to do anything right now, Paramount is sitting pretty.
Right. So what about? So let's.
They laid the groundwork.
So the shitbox that was John Carter, as far as money went, Disney took that huge hit.
Yeah.
Do they make up for it because of the Avengers, or does Paramount get all the benefits?
No, I would say Disney gets the lion's share of the financial reward.
So the guy that got fired,
they've got a big hole to dig themselves out of, but I think the Avengers will help quite a bit. I can't imagine this movie not making it to at least $1.5 billion.
It's
not $2 billion.
or something right now, right?
Almost 7.
And they did. It was 2 to make it, something like that.
It was something like that.
You can afford to go to Mars based on the money that Avengers is going to make.
Did they jump?
We could save so many countries right now.
Right. Well,
with the money this made.
Did they jump the gun
Did
they jump the gun by firing that guy? Because wasn't he part of the whole Marvel purchase as well?
I think that that was likely a long time coming and was related to. It wasn't just about John Carter. I think it was.
He was a prick.
I don't know the guy, so I can't say. I have no idea. But I will say that yes, I'm sure it was a combination of multiple factors.
Well, Ethan, thank you very much, man. It's very insightful. We appreciate it, and we look forward for you to come back on and beat Ellis at the game.
I cannot wait.
Okay.
Talk to y'all later.
Bye, Ethan.
See you, buddy.
Ethan's the best.
All right.
I read that somewhere that they said that it was like they got a loan from Merrill Lynch to make this movie, like $200 million.
Amazing.
And they're like,
If
okay,
that doesn't
we'll
help
do
the economy, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
One of the few good calls Merrill Lynch has
I
made.
would love
over
to
the
see
last
that
couple
meeting
years.
too at the bank.
seriously.
Like, you ever heard of the Incredible Hulk, Mr. Banker? Well, would you like to see him?
I brought comics.
Yeah, I brought him.
Well, we
Please
all
leave.
have heard of the Incredible Hulk, but not a lot of us know about Thanos yet. But we have Chris on the line from Ohio. Chris, you know Thanos personally, is that true?
Yeah, he's totally. I know him. He's my best friend. What's up, guys?
What's up,
What's
man?
up?
Hey, so Stuckman, let me ask you a question. So, tell us about Thanos, man. What's his deal? Is he a badass? Are we looking to what are we looking at in part 2?
Okay, first off, it's Thanos.
Oh, sorry.
Hey guys, it's actually
That was
Thanos.
awesome.
Let's get serious.
Come on.
Christian, you call yourself a geek.
I am sorry, Mr. Stockman.
No, I'm saving you because when you say that in a video, 1,000 comments will make your video.
You're absolutely right.
Thanos all day long.
So basically what he is his name is derived from Thanatos, which was a Greek mythology character.
Oh, boy.
And that character was the personification of death.
Uh-huh.
And
He's a fan of death.
He's obsessed with death. He literally is aroused by death.
Wow, I like it.
And I'm back.
Which is why.
Wait,
who
Who jerks
Is he an
off to
alien?
death?
Like, what's his
Seriously.
deal?
Jeffrey Dahmer.
At the end of the movie, when the guy is kneeling and he's like, to fight the humans is to court death, Thanos gets up and he looks around and he smiles, because death is
what gets him hot.
Okay. That makes sense. So we're
takes
looking
his pants off and starts rubbing one out.
Yeah,
Hey, can you do
that's
this
a good
after our
segue.
meeting?
Wait,
That's a good segue.
What's Thanos considered? Is he I mean, I know they're alien because they're not from Earth, but
where's he from, Chris?
what's his deal?
I don't know. He's from space. I don't really think it's like I don't know.
Well, I could have told you that.
He's not. He's not. Yeah, he's not like an Asgardian though. He's from another one. I think he has some dealings with Thor in the comic books, but he's not like an Asgardian.
Same
guy.
cul-de-sac in space, just different.
Right.
No, I had something to say about your Hulk comment though.
What do you got, Chris?
You said that about the Hulk being the plot hole about at the end where all of a sudden he can control his thing. See, the way I saw it, I thought that too the first time I saw it, but then I saw it a second time, and when he's talking with Robert Downey Jr., Bruce Banner, and they're working with the computer, he's like, Robert Downey Jr. is like, you may just like it. You may actually like it if you give into it.
Right.
And he's like, I don't think so. Then at the end of the film, when he says that big line where he's like, I'm always angry, that's like him accepting that he can't always control it, that he has that part of him that likes being the Hulk, and once he like accepts that about him, that he actually kind of likes it sometimes.
Well, look, I'll buy that. But the thing, like,
it's a lesson for all you kids out there: be yourself, and especially if you turn into a green monster.
The whole time.
Yeah, no, I'll buy that. The thing is, too, I would have liked, and I know it was already like a 2.5-hour movie, but I would have liked to see just a little scene, almost where he's like training to do it or something, so we know that he's going to. Well, again, who cares?
My question is, and this goes to Stuckman as well as the Schmoes, as well as Freddy, everybody involved. He clearly knows how to control it, right? Because he didn't destroy Thor or any of the people he's interacting with the way he almost killed Scarlett Johansson.
He can control it.
Also, why did he save Robert Downey Jr. if he's like a monster who can't?
Yeah, and they
control
shouldn't have
his
showed
feelings?
that in the trailer. They should not have shown that part in the trailer.
That's not my problem.
I
The problem
agree.
is, what is the deal with him? Can he control the rage?
Yeah.
Is it that he's learning how to towards
I think
the end?
he also knows, and I like Ruffalo as him because he does have that kind of mild manner, just kind of, you don't want to make me angry look.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think the acceptance is he can't control it, but he can put himself in places where he can better prepare for it. Like, it's almost like with him, like a guy who accepts he has diabetes and just carries his insulin around. With him, it's like, okay, I just don't go to stressful things.
Right.
But if I do need to go to stressful things, we'll learn how to put on a little Rage Against the Machine. He'll get mad. And
he also was a fan of Downey. That like he was really good
They're pals.
buddies with
Pals.
Iron
I love
Man
that.
more so than anyone else on the team. So if someone else is falling from outer space, maybe the Hulk doesn't see it or doesn't go for it. But that's his
But
best
he
friend.
clearly likes Scarlett Johansson.
Everybody
and
likes
when they
Scarlett
fall
Johansson.
down,
I do too,
exactly.
yeah.
So then, how come he was like, and he was like fighting, and he almost killed her?
He's gonna have to fight Woody
she doesn't
Allen
have
for
to
her.
worry about that because if Scarlett's falling from the sky, Mark Ellis will catch her.
All right, so that
We answered that.
yes. Now look, here's something that is Chris still on?
Yeah.
Chris, thanks a lot for joining us, dude, and that was actually really helpful. We know more about Thanos now.
Sure.
We know how to
Appreciate
pronounce
it.
it.
Now, thanks a
buddy.
lot for calling in. Now,
Bye, Chris.
we talked a lot about the Avengers. We'll do some more stuff on all of our channels. You can check out Catherine's Avengers review on her YouTube channel, youtube.com/Catherine Reitman.
Or check it out on Revision 3.
Yep. Or you can check out ours, youtube.com/schmoesknow. Now, one of the things that we talked about that the Dark Knight is coming out. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard about this John Travolta thing that's going on.
Right.
These allegations and all this stuff that's happening.
It's all untrue. It's not true.
Listen,
All 10 of them, they're lying.
I read this thing yesterday, and
Isn't there proof that he was in New York that day, though? Like there was photos of him and a receipt from a hotel, the Hudson Hotel in New York.
I
Maybe,
don't buy it.
I don't know.
Now I'm going to have to, because I can't pull this thing up for some reason on this computer, so I'm going to have to go and maybe switch with Catherine to do this.
Sure.
What we're going to do is, The Dark Knight is coming out, and I think it would be very funny. Like, Mr. Lockhart does probably the best Morgan Freeman you'll ever hear. I would love to see if Frost and Dark Knight had to talk about John Travolta as the next villain in Batman, and we had to read this report. This is going to be a scene from the if Nolan decides to do a new Batman, but we got to
Makes
switch to
perfect
Mark.
sense.
Well, the scene is set, so we're going to have Morgan Freeman interact with Christian Bale. This may be the new 6 minutes.
In a world where Christian Bale and Freddy Lockhart take on other personas.
This is not high concept at all.
Here we go.
What is it, Frost?
General allegations.
What are we reading here? What's going on?
It seems there's been some trouble. Seems that somebody's been seeking illicit hand jobs where he shouldn't have been.
What's the report say?
Let's go ahead and take a look. Plaintiff is informed and believes, and upon such information and belief states that January 16th, 2012, he was working at the Beverly Hills, California area as a personal massage therapist with a portable table and the standard items that would normally be used for professional massage.
Unbelievable.
Plaintiff worked through a series of professional-themed ads and locally accessed websites and had received numerous clients for many of years without serious incident or problem.
Where are we getting with this?
Plaintiff is informed and believes that upon such information and belief states that unidentified male called plaintiff's cell phone from a blocked number claiming to represent a celebrity client who demanded full confidentiality and would not allow autographs, photographs, or any video.
Unbelievable.
He didn't mention that he was representing defendant or perhaps the defendant himself. Plaintiff only had discussed the price that would be $200 per hour.
High robbery.
That's a whole lot of money. You can go to Costco and get one for cheaper. The unidentified male told the plaintiff...
Hand jobs at Costco?
Hand jobs and blow jobs. Get them while they're hot. The unidentified male told plaintiff to go to a specific street, and that private car would pick him up. Plaintiff is informed and believes upon such information and believes states to his amazement. Defendant finds himself picked plaintiff up in a black Lexus SUV. Defendant was wearing dark glasses, jeans, and a very loose-fitting athletic shirt. What is that word? That's a big...
Chronograph!
Okay, thank you. Wait, do you need a lozenge? There were Trojan condoms in the console of the vehicle. There's also appeared to be 2 or 3 wrappers from chocolate cake packages on the floor of the SUV.
Chocolate cake!
Ho-hos or ding-dongs, perhaps.
Call Gordon.
Plaintiff is informed and believes that upon such information and belief states that the defendant parked the Lexus on the side street of the Beverly Hills Hotel. Page 2. And we went off to the bungalows on the right-hand side if you're facing the front of the hotel. The door was unlocked. And there was an overweight black man preparing hamburgers.
Hamburgers?
A black man preparing hamburgers. They had bacon on them, of course.
Where is he?
Who meekly said, "Hey," plaintiff and defendant, and no formal introductions were made. The black man was preparing hamburgers from watching his skill and dexterity.
This
in
is
food
getting Catherine and I so hot, by the way.
It seemed that he was some sort of
cake,
professional
sweetheart.
chef.
So wait a minute. There was a professional chef as he was giving massages?
There was a chef and there was massages. Plaintiff is informed and believes, and upon such information and belief states that the defendant shamelessly stripped naked in front of the plaintiff, and chef was gazing at the plaintiff as he appeared to be semi-erect.
Hot dogs.
He's
Semi-erect.
Semi-erect.
Chub.
Plaintiff asked defendant to lie face down and drape himself with a towel. Defendant started muttering to himself something along the lines that, "He wants me to get on the table." Can you believe that? He wants me to get on the table. Plaintiff is informed and believes that upon such information and belief states that defendant is watching us during the massage. For the last hour, the massage was without incident, other than he kept purposely sliding the towel down that covered his buttocks to reveal half of the gluteus area.
Whoops!
Plaintiff kept sliding the towel back up and reminding defendant the state law requires that a massage client be fully draped during the massage.
Put your cock away.
Put it away. This back-and-forth activity of the defendant sliding down and the plaintiff, with a boner, would slide it up occurred over 10 times for the first 4 hours. This is getting ludicrous. Plaintiff is informed and believes that upon such information, belief states that right before the hour ended, defendant chronograph. God damn it, I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses now. Defendant chronograph was started to chime and the black of the chef covered the burgers.
We gotta move on.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Mr. Wayne, they're flashing the bat signal in town.
Just read this part right here.
Well, now, hold on. Plaintiff is informed and believes that upon such information and belief states that the defendant then sat upon the table and asked the plaintiff to switch places and do a reverse massage. No. Plaintiff told the defendant that a masseuse lying on the table was unlawful and inappropriate. The defendant said, "Come on, dude. I'll jerk you off."
We gotta get him.
And with that is Batman, that is Morgan Freeman, that is Freddy Lockhart, Christian Harloff, Catherine Reitman from Breaking It Down. I am Mark Ellis for the Schmoes on Movie Podcast. Thanks for listening, and all new Heidi and Frank is right around the corner. See you guys next week.